Okay, we're back again trying to watch another film, and the last one we did was Flight of the Living Dead, pitched by Screwhead, which I sat through. I enjoyed lovingly. The film that was dear to my heart from my childhood is The Ice Pirates, or as everyone calls it, Ice Pirates.
Let's go down to the movies. Let's go out tonight. Lightsaber slash and bumblebee splash at the movies tonight. Screwhead and Avon, everybody come along. Grab some popcorn and your 3D goggles at the movies tonight.
So, we should probably say the thing for this one.
Yeah, we should definitely say the thing. Okay, everyone. As this is a pre-2000s film, please anticipate there might be some moments or, for example, one-liners that don't align with modern values. It's in no way the focus of the film, however, if you're particularly sensitive to outdated depictions of race, culture, sexuality, or other elements that modern media handles differently, this, or potentially any other film from the era, may not be for you. Neither of us support malicious bigotry, however, except that this film was created in a different time and understand that there could be moments that some viewers may not be comfortable with. For everyone else still watching, on with the show! It was a sci-fi comedy that came out in 1984 on the tail of Return of the Jedi. And unlike Spaceballs, 1987, it wasn't a parody of Star Wars. It was more a parody of the sci-fi genre that was suddenly very, very popular. I'm going to just stop there for a second and just take you... Oh, actually, no, to give you the plot. The basic plot is that water, which is the most prevalent thing in the universe, is somehow now very, very scarce, and people will kill for it. So you have these big tanker ships owned by the Overlord government transporting these massive block of ice around the place, and
The Templars.
ice pirates will go and... Yeah, I was going to say Templars. Transporting these big blocks of ice around the place, and the ice pirates will raid these ships like ye olde war galleon pirates and steal the ice because ice is a currency. And then the film starts. Alright, so the film starts with a handful of pirates raiding one of these Templar ships. While they're doing the raid, they happen to stumble across a princess who is in a cryo-sleep chamber. They find she's quite comely.
As
And
princesses in space are.
yeah, and they decide, oh no, we better leave her there. We'll do the moral thing, and they have to run away because they're about to get busted. And eventually, they do get caught up with, and they get tangled up with this princess anyway. She's got a quest to try and find her long-lost father, who was screwed over by the Templars, and they have to go through a time warp to find him, and it's all a bit nonsense. And through the time warp is supposed to be the planet of water, where it actually rains, and where, there's water for everyone. And that's kind of the plot. Which in no way explains the nonsense in the film.
No, it actually sounds like someone tried to write a plot there. The way you explain, like, all right, I mean, it's not a good sci-fi plot, but okay.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, but I'll get your thoughts.
So, my first thought is that I watched it with my teenage son.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, about halfway through the movie, every time a new prop was introduced, one of us would scream "space," whatever the prop was. So it was, oh, space knights. Oh,
yeah.
Space pirates. Oh,
yeah.
Space pigs. Oh, space horses.
Just horses.
Look at that. So it was, and then when the main hero goes to look down the girl's blouse, we were like, oh, space perverts.
Yeah. Whatever happened to we pillage? Is a quote from the film.
So
yes.
the entire movie was a setup for the last 10 minutes, and it was one of the biggest payoffs in movie history, in my opinion. Like we were watching the whole movie going, well, why is there a pig? And like, why is this pig in this movie now? And then like, and it was just, and then at the very end of the movie, you go, okay, I get it now.
Let me start by saying it was originally supposed to be a serious sci-fi. And if you watch it, you can see that, and because it was originally had a $20 million budget, which back then was decent coin. The studio cut it to $8 million, and they went, "Well, we're going to go with a comedy because they're cheaper." But the special effects were done by Industrial Light and Magic, who, if you're of that era, you'll know they did Star Wars and that sort of stuff. Not to their Star Wars level, but it was still done by ILM. The soundtrack's great. The costumes are fantastic. for what is ultimately a stupid film. But if you watch it through the lens of knowing that it started off as a serious film, you can see there's whole chunks of it which are relatively seriously deadpan played as a serious film. And then there's just comedy elements that aren't slapstick comedy, but they're just clever one-liners and cheeky nods to each other, which just makes it feel organic, like they actually are like that. Like, as you know, like people are going through some shit. And then to sort of deal with that trauma, you sort of have a bit of a laugh and a bit of a say something dumb and a weird expression. And it kind of works. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. What doesn't make sense is that all the space pirates wear pirate outfits, but space
pirates.
And they have laser guns throughout the whole movie, but instead they're all like, space sword!
Yeah, we're using swords.
Well, and of course the Templars are space knights. I mean, they're legitimately just knights, and they have swords. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I think I'm okay with this dynamic. And then they're like, random robots.
Come on, how good are the robots?
Robots are great. There are so many different robots in this movie, and they're useless.
Not useless. What about the one he painted black? Why did you paint him black? I wanted him to be perfect.
That was such a good line. And
Michael D. Roberts is fantastic in everything. He plays a character called Roscoe, who is their sort of engineer, robot technician, and electronics, just everything to do with computers in the ship. Who else was in it? I've got a list, but I'm trying not to look at it. Angelica Houston as Mida. Her character's name is Minda. Midia, but they pronounce it Mida in the film. The sword lady who slices that dude's head off.
Oh, the sword lady's awesome.
Yeah. So Angelica Houston, she's fantastic and been in.
Oh yeah,
everything.
She was wasn't she in Addams Family?
Yes, she's a mortician.
But the egg that just rolls out next to the console, and you're like, oh. This is going to be some sort of threatening thing, and then it hatches, and it's a space herpes.
The space herpes comes out of the chicken.
Yeah, chicken. It's an egg. It comes out of an egg.
Oh, that's right. They find it in the cupboard. That's right. Yeah, the hedge one. Yeah. Space herpes.
They're like,
the ship's got herpes.
Space herpes. And the guy's like, they're really not that dangerous.
Robert Ehrlich is the guy who plays Jason, because the whole thing is an analog of Jason and the Argonauts.
Of course.
And that's the only good thing he ever did. Sorry, Jason, but Robert, sorry, but it's the only thing, the best thing he ever did. That role was originally going to be played by Kevin Costner, and he turned it down.
Well, I don't blame him. That was a good decision.
No, he went on and made Waterworld as his big sci-fi.
That's true.
If you can have your name attached to a great film with ice pirates.
This movie, I mean, as soon as the pirates swung on, as soon as they found the excuse in the opening scene to swing into the ship.
To swing somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, I thought, I want to hate this movie.
Yeah.
Right? And then when the knights came out with the swords, I was like, I really want to hate this movie. But, like, the more I watched it, the more I was like, damn it, Avon, I think I love this movie.
And he's got Ron Perlman, second film he ever did.
Yes, yes.
What's her name? Crosby, who plays the princess. It's her second film. Maria Crosby. It's her second film. The guy whose name, the big guy who plays Killjoy in the film, whose name I've suddenly forgotten. Oh. He then played Sloth straight after in Goonies. So people did stuff. Who else? Oh, it was John Carradine's last role too. He played the Supreme Overlord, Supreme Leader or whatever. It was his last studio role.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah.
The Supreme. Yeah, because he's
he's and Bruce Vilanch. He was the head. Weldon, the guy who's just a head for no good reason.
The head. Oh my god,
Now,
that's
it's a fever dream, isn't it?
There's just so many parts in this movie where you're just every scene you're like, what drugs does it take to come up with this concept?
He's just a head for no reason.
No, he's got that weird robot body that does this. Like,
and he's the guy who wrote the Star Wars Holiday Special.
And well, no shit, I was just
But he's also really camp in it. And remember they get the ring out of his mouth. He's carrying a ring in his head for some reason to get the mystic ring. And then she's doing this thing with the ring. She puts the ring on her finger to make a hologram of her long lost father. It's all very emotional. And in the background you hear Jason say, what else you got in there to the head guy? And he said, no, lots of things or something. Care to make a deposit? It's like, oh. You're like, oh great. There's off to one side, guys.
Two things to that part. One, when the guy first appeared, my son goes, "Oh, it's space creep." To hit all the high points here. Opening scene: space pirates. They take the ice ship. Oh no! They meet the princess. Then they get shot at and captured.
Yeah.
Two of the space pirates, and taken to a factory world where they're going to be turned into re-engineered eunuchs, right?
Yeah.
Right? They wear these weird white outfits and have these really weird pompadour haircuts for no reason. Right?
Yeah.
But
they're going to be
they
slaves.
get saved by
they're sold as eunuch slaves, yeah.
Right. For some reason. But then they get saved by the princess and taken to space to go find her father.
Mm-hmm.
The first place they go is the pirate moon, which is a thing, apparently.
Yeah.
And they meet
lanky nerds.
They meet
the frog lady.
Yeah, the frog lady, and the frog lady takes him out to meet the buddy, and like the buddy's just
lanky
out in the middle of the desert, right?
Yeah.
And he's got like
he played Vedic someone in Deep Space Nine at some point,
right? Well, he's out there just chilling out in the wilderness, and then there's like
killing
got
gophers.
pigs and gophers with a slingshot. And then he's got like pigs and donkeys just with him, and then we're like, oh, space unit. And then here comes the best car that I've ever seen,
with the skull on the front,
and the like giant ass wheels.
It's like someone made a boat, put massive wheels on it, and a skull on the front, and then just went yar a lot.
Yar.
It's massive. There's a whole bunch of dudes on this thing. It's like a land boat.
It was steered with a pirate wheel too, one of those pirate steering wheels, you know. And so I saw that car. I was like, "This is the greatest car I've ever seen."
Why wasn't there toys of this?
It's amazing. And then chaos pursues, and then they're like, "Well, we're going to just get back on our ship and fly out into space with. We've reconnected with all our pirate buddies." And the chick with the sword, best outfits ever throughout the whole movie.
Mida.
And then they just, for some reason, take the pigs and the donkeys with them to the ship. And then the donkeys and the pigs become like a major part of the movie for the
film. Yeah, for no good reason.
For no good reason. Like you see the people caring for them and feeding them and like giving them bottles. And we're sitting here, we're like, what the hell is
what's going on?
Pigs in this?
Yes. Yes.
Meanwhile, the Templars are hunting them with some vague plots. Then they go to the ninja woman.
The Templars want the ice. The Templars want the ice. Sorry, they want the water on the magic water world. Yeah.
Right. And then they go to a planet full of ninja women on unicorns.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a scene where they arrive, and for some reason it's just a black area full of soft lighting and dry ice. That all of these scantily clad women turn up on unicorns.
Unicorns. And we're like, space unicorn! And and then they meet the weirdo, who's just a head.
Weldon the weirdo. Yeah, he's just a head on a robot body.
Right. Who for some reason has a completely pointless robot version of her father.
Yes.
Still on the
Non-convincing
planet.
version of her father, yeah. And with the sole purpose of hoping that someone will stick an oscilloscope on it and make a ring shape, and she'll go, "It's a ring!" And then make the ring guy the head guy cough up a ring. It makes no sense.
It's convoluted. It's convoluted at best. And then they make all these vague references to,
God.
like, if you hit the time warp wrong, you'll age 20 years in a minute.
Yeah, you'll be lost in time or whatever. Yeah.
Well, so then they're going to the 7th planet, and the bad guys are following them
through the time warp.
Guys land through the time warp, and the bad guys land on the plane or the jet, but they're off by 1 degree. That's the key point that was never covered at any point until the very end. And then they start pursuing in. Oh, and the space captain Jason hooks up with the princess, the princess, right? In the most Harlequin romance scene of all time, pouring water on them.
That sex scene is the most needless and over the top in the middle of a film that just didn't need that.
And it's just, and he was like, "How about tropical thunder as their background?" And then it's like, they go in a room and it's like thundering and lightning, and then it just starts raining on them, and we're like, "Isn't water the most sparse resource in the universe?"
It's the most garbage holodeck you will ever see.
So then they go into the time warp, and time starts fast forwarding. As these things happen while they're fighting the enemy robots and the good robots, and all the guys are aging.
Yes,
turns out she's pregnant. Older. She has a baby. The baby then during the fight grows up,
becomes a swashbuckler during the fight.
During the fight, you see
the hair.
And the one guy's hair just keeps getting bigger and bigger and wider and wider.
The way they showed the progression of time, because this progression of time is years and years and years in seconds, and so they're fighting, then they go, and they fight again, and their hair gets bigger, so you get the two main characters with afros that are a foot and a half round.
And the beards just keep getting longer.
They're still fighting.
Within the first minute, you see they run past the little baby pigs and the donkey, the baby donkeys, and then they come back, and all of a sudden the baby donkeys and the baby pigs are full grown pigs. And we're like, oh, that's the point of the pigs.
Which makes me think that this was always going to happen in the serious version of the film, and they were going to use the pigs and donkeys to show the progression of time, and then it turned into a comedy, and they went, massive afros. Let's just make their hair really, really big. And she's going to have a baby really quick. Let's do that.
Well, then they had that romance scene, and I was like, this romance scene is pointless. And then the baby pops up, and we're like, oh, this is just so that he can be rescued by his son in the future. I get it.
Yeah, and it's not even in the future. It's not like it's a time travel film where there's causality or anything. It's just like someone sped up the videotape really quickly. Stuff happens really quick. And the nanny dies and turns into a skeleton.
Turns into a bunch. Yeah, they have a space nanny. She's just like not even space nanny, just nanny in space.
Yes, that's exactly the thing. It's none of it is space. Everyone just wears normal clothes or pirate clothes. It's the closest thing to what you presume Han Solo was doing before he met Luke. He was dicking around the universe with a bunch of weirdos, stealing stuff and gun running, and then his life went boring.
The number of opportunities that they find in that movie for people to swing on a rope onto another ship is just astounding. Ron Perlman gets his hand chopped off and it grows back magically. No discussion of that. When
they're sitting in the control room of the spaceship, just the thing I like about this film is that they went, because it's a parody of sci-fi, they tried to add everything from sci-fi films, or just make everything sci-fi. So they're sitting around the table eating before the space herpy pops out, and you've got the robot arms coming down from the ceiling, serving everything. They're just corrugated rubber tubes with someone's glove hands on them, but they've got this serving arms that come down from this robot over here. And my brother and I went to see it when I was 10 and he was 6, and Mum took us along to that, and everything was fine. And there's a bit in the film where the little family of robots gets destroyed apart from one of them. And the robots, it's just like one of those little roll around robots going, baby, mummy. They're just scattered into pieces in front of it going, baby, mum. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's right. There's a bit of childhood trauma. Forget the rest of the film. People are getting hacked apart and everything else. There's this little rolly robot crying over its destroyed family for no good reason. It wasn't funny. It was just brutal.
I saw that scene and I laughed my ass off because
as an adult,
a robot. But yeah, as a child, that would be extremely traumatizing.